How's you going today, guys? What's going on? Well, we're in the basement. Um, when you're out in the country, living on a farm, you pretty much have to be a jack of all trades. Because if you ain't, it's going to get real pricey real fast. Anyways, turn you around. Here we have Hydro Pro Water Systems tank. It's a metal pressure tank. This is what keeps the pressure flowing throughout the whole farmyard to our house. Well, kind of to our house. But to all the water outside, all the livestock water bowls, the water hydrants, so on and so forth. This is what makes it happen. This and a deep well pump. So unlike in the city, you guys, the water is plumbed right into your home via city water, and you don't worry about it. But out here, we have to buy all of our own product and to get our own water. Now, either you can hire somebody and they'll come and install it for you, or you do it yourself. So you need a pressure tank. You need a deep well, electric shutoff, so on and so forth. One of them things over there. You need a pressure switch, which is this thing right here, and a pressure gauge, so you know what your gauge, your pressure is at. Now, this is the main pressure system in our home, and then we have a secondary just for the house. So we got that big blue tank right there, and a small pressure tank there. And then our water, it's not a chlorinator, but takes the iron and sediment and shit out of our water. And then a softener, and then it goes through the house. That's just for the house, that stuff there. But for the yard, for all the livestock and everything else, it's this guy. So we were gone for the last 2 days. We get home last night, and he was blowing water off like crazy. He blew a hole right through the sidewall of the tank, the baffle. There's a baffle, like a big water bag on the inside, and you pressurize this tank with air. Anyway, he blew a hole in the baffle, and he blew a hole through the side of the metal tank, and the water was shooting straight out, hitting the wall in the back, right where my finger is, right there. There's that little divot in the styrofoam insulation. And then from there, we got lucky, and it deflected from there back to the ground, to the floor, and to the drain. We got lucky, because it could have easily blew a hole through the side of the tank over here. Then it would have shot it across, hit our furnace, probably would have fucked the furnace, hit that wall, saturated that wall over there, and flooded the whole basement. How long it was blowing water off for, we have no idea, because we were gone for 2 days. Anyway, we got to get this fixed. So, what's it take? Well, luckily for us, it's not overly expensive. We already had one of these things. This we got to screw into the bottom of a new pressure tank, which we had. It's right here, this tank right here. And we also had a new pressure switch, which is right here. So we got to plumb everything in and get it all hooked up again and get our water flowing again. So that's what I'm going to work at right now, is getting this guy out. So it's just a matter of cutting the line, pulling that off. I'm going to replace this whole apparatus down here. Everything in here is getting replaced with new, because our water is kind of cruddy coming off our deep well. Okay, we'll let you go. I'll bring you guys back in a little bit. Alrighty, guys, so now we have a Red Lion pressure tank. I've gone ahead and I've assembled everything. So this piece right here, it's what I call it, a 3-way pressure assembly pipe. This piece threads right into the factory fitting on the underside of the tank, underneath here. It also has a female and male thread on the end. So you can have a female fitting that goes over top, or you can get a fitting that threads inside, which is what I did. When you're assembling these, especially with this plastic piping, I always have my trusty little torch, and I warm up the pipe. It makes it a lot easier to slip over top. And then when you put your crimps on, or your hose clamps, you can crank it on tight. Now, one guy said always use 2 clamps, and I agree with him, always use 2 clamps. But one guy told me, put your clamps, your connectors where you thread, opposite to each other. I didn't do it here, but I did do it over here. So anyway, we've got our fitting here. Our barbed fitting threaded inside, barbed fitting threaded inside. Got a plug on this side. It had 2 bleed off points. Well, I only need 1. So we got a plug here. And I put a hose tap on this one. New pressure gauge right there. This is our pressure switch, which we have to disconnect the wires from the old switch, which is right there, and install them here. And now we have to hose fitting, hose clamp. And so, just a sec, guys. That. And that. I'm getting my hose clamps on. One there. One there. And warm that sucker up. Babe. And then push these 2 suckers together. There, like so. And I don't got a power tool for my hose clamps, so we do it old school and screwdriver it. But anyway, that's about her. I'm pretty much at the point where we can turn the water on and check for leaks. As soon as I get these 2 hose clamps done up. You want to be careful that you don't overheat the pipe and then kink it, because that'll weaken the son of a bitch. But this is how I do it. Whether it's the right way or the wrong way, I don't know. But it's the way that's been working for us. Anyway, I'll let you go. We'll talk to you guys later. Alrighty, guys. So, I just wired this all in. Putting my cover in and my power supply on. Turn the breaker on. Hitting my lever here to pressure up, because this is like a kick out. And if you sometimes with these switches, if the power happens to go out while it's pressurizing like it is right now, and it drops below 20 psi, then it won't turn on. When your power comes back on, what you have to do is come and play with this little switch on this style. So this sucker is supposed to be preset to kick out at 20 psi and, well, basically kick. The pump turns on. It's supposed to turn the pump on at 20 psi and shut the pump off at 50 psi. This particular unit. The old one was 20 and 60, but this one's 20 and 50 preset. It's what it's supposed to be. Our pressure is building. What are we up to there? just about 30. There we go, we're at 30. So when it gets all the way up to 50, then it'll shut off. But being that the cattle were drinking until they ran out of water, obviously, because we had to shut the system down, otherwise we would have probably flooded the house. So now we got no water in our lines basically going to the barn, or all the hydrants and so on and so forth. So we got to pressurize everything all the way throughout the barn and so on and so forth. And that can take a few minutes, but she's building. We're up to 40. See that? Nope. Just about 35. It'll take a bit. But I'm just going to leave the cover off this so I can check it. Looking for leaks. And so far, at this point, everything is nice and dry, which is exactly what we want. This tank is all charged to 20 psi also. Oh boy, sore knees. So there we go. Kind of not a real in-depth on how to do it, but it's all pretty straightforward. You can do this on your own. If you got that 3-way pipe, in this case it was a 4 or a 5, however you want to look at it, because we had these taps. So you just throw a plug in, put a tap on, get a short stand pipe for your pressure switch, a gauge, like my fitting here, 6 hose clamps, this tap, the gauge, and that stand pipe was $50. This tank is around 300. The pressure switch was around 125. So, you know, you can do it on your own. And when it blows up, well, in our case, we already had that. We found it was on sale at our local PV Mart, I don't know, 4 years ago. And we actually bought that tank for, I think it was 50% off. They were blowing them out and bringing in new stock. So we got lucky with it, right? Anywho, I'll keep an eye on this and I'll bring you guys back later. Alrighty guys, well, she's all pressurized up. I went for a walk. We've got water behind the shop for them cattle. We got water at the bowls at the barn. Hydrants are all working. And she's sitting at 45 right now. So I may have to turn it up a little bit. But that's just a matter of adjusting these 2 pins. Them bolt looking things at the backside. So not that big a deal. So yeah, everything is up and running. Sweet. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys go. We'll talk to you all later. Alrighty guys, just to give you all an update on our Gamble cover crop that concoction that we mixed up. So yeah, there's some thistle in here. I'm not going to deny it. I got thistle on my land everywhere, okay? But let's get down here a little closer, okay? Peas, oats. This is oats here, this big leaf. This is barley here, the smaller leaf. A little bit lower. I think right there is a clover. I'm not sure if that's a weed or not right here, or is it a canolas? I think that's a weed. Over here we have more clover and alfalfas. So more alfalfas over here. Right there. some clovers and some alfalfas and lots of peas. I'm not seeing any really canolas. We did have some canolas in here, but I'm not seeing it. It wasn't treated. It was just a bin run kind of garbage type stuff. You guys tell me. I don't know what canola is supposed to look like when it first comes out and when it's mixed with a bunch of other shit. But what's that? I think that's a canola right there. It's a weak canola, but I think that's what that is. Because it's right in the run, right? So it's looking like, if that's canolas, then everything that we seeded in here is growing, by golly. Now, how strong is that alfalfa going to be? I don't know, because it was like 8-year-old friggin' seed, right? This right here is the fucking weed. That's a weed. And this is a weed. But the ground is wet. Wet enough I can make a ball. Little see there. So that's positive for next year, right? And the clover and alfalfas. Yeah, we got the fucking thistle, but it's not overly tall at this point, but it's got 2 months of growing to do yet. So if it triples in size, it'll be worth it. It's got to triple in size. We've got the moisture, so it's got to triple in size. And this is wild mustard. That's what this is right here. Where is it? Yeah, that's a wild mustard. But the cows can eat that. It's just the odd plant.
What's the odd plant? What? That's mustard.
Yeah, that's mustard.
Yeah, it's good.
So
That's your supper.
that's my supper?
Yeah.
I don't think so. And then right here, this had water laying in it, so we couldn't seed it. So I ran through here. That was a week ago. And we had a little alfalfa in, but the oats is coming. We threw some oats in here, stuff that was left over. The oats is coming up. I didn't disc this little spot right here because I couldn't get in it when I disked because there was still water. Now, let's go to where I did disc. Not spraying any of this stuff because of the clover and the alfalfa, guys. What's the date here? It's July the 6th or 7th today. So here's where I disked, where it's blacker ground. And you can see the oats is coming just to try and fill in some spots. I didn't get in there because it's too tight a turn, and well, there's water sitting right there. But she's turning green out there. You can see it. If you guys can make that out, it's all coming in. So that's a positive. And that yellow looking stuff there, that's our clover. We're just waiting for dry weather. I probably should have had some cut from Tuesday night or Wednesday. Either that or the alfalfa, one or the other. Because we could have been baling today. The wind is up nice. It would have been a perfect day for baling, but whatever. We'll start cutting next week, guys. Next week we're gonna start. unless it's raining buckets. Okay, I'm gonna let you go. Holy jumpers. Look at this. It's just loaded in here. See that? It's everywhere. That's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys go. And we'll talk to y'all later. What the hell is CP doing? She's gonna wreck the gate. Later, guys. And oh yes, if anybody wants to spend a couple days out here hammering on some gophers, get a hold of me on Facebook or Instagrammers. We've got a 40-acre plot here that the cows are not on it, and there's a lot of gophers out here. Gopher. Fuck, look it over there. I'm seeing like 30 of them.
Okay, get some tannerite. Bucket.
Get some tannerite and we'll just blow the fuckers up. That'll fix them.
I'm not picking her up.
That'll fix them. Another one. Yeah, there's a bunch of...
And I poisoned out here.
Yeah, you did. You poisoned, and we had freaking bait stations, and yeah, there's a lot of gophers out here, guys. Get out here and hammer on the gophers. Have some fun. Talk to you guys later. Crazy ass bird. And that one's trying to be a mama. And look at all these little farts. These are all of CP's chicks that she had in the incubator and hatched them, and there's a pile of them. There's 7 bigger ones in there, but that's because they're a month older. Hey, bird. All I can say about birds is I like eating them. Babe, I like eating them.
Do you like the eggs too?
I like eating them. That's part of eating them.
Can you grab me a pail of water?
A bucket of water? Yep. Alright, guys. We gotta deal with these birdie birds. So, we'll let you go, and we'll see y'all tomorrow.